Sachdeva. I hope that I did not butcher your name. So, Rachit was the former vice president of marketing at DECA, which was awarded the best marketing club award last week. So we definitely know they have getting the best advice here. So in terms of questions, if you guys have any questions, you can leave them in the chat, or you can unmute yourself during our Q&A period when once Rachit is done with his presentation. And also a reminder, we have a grand prize giveaway and a giveaway specific for this workshop. So we're going to put the link. And when you sign up for this specific workshops, a giveaway, you automatically considered for the grand prize, which is I believe a Samsung tab, which is great, as well as smoothie bowls. So without further ado, Rachit, the stage is yours. You can begin your presentation, and after your presentation done, we're gonna have the Q&A session.
Awesome, thank you so much, Ahmed. I'll start right now. All right, so everyone can see the presentation. It's all good. Okay, awesome. Again, thanks for the introduction. My name is Rachit. I was the vice president of marketing at DECA, and I graduated in summer 2020. So just this past summer, I finished school finally. Right now I'm working part-time in City of Ottawa in finance department, and I'm also studying for my CFA. And CFA is just your Chartered Financial Analyst designation. Which is what I'm working towards. So I work about 3-4 days a week, and then most of my day, like even the days I'm working, I study, and then other days obviously I'm studying. So I just want to go over like marketing principles, which I found really helpful, and I wish someone was there to tell me or guide me, but I had to like learn all this going through it. So I was part of DECA for about 3 years, and I think finally the 4th year is where we found the sweet spot where DECA was really excelling. So I just want to go over some of the things that the hurdles I faced and how I got over them, and how it made DECA and the marketing of DECA something that people really liked. So I'll just get right into it. The biggest problem I see everyone facing is how do we get members, or how do we get people interested into our club, or how do we get someone to sign up for our events? And there's no like straight answer for that, because every club is different, every person is different. But I want to go over some tips, some things that I learned over my tenure at DECA, and anything I've learned at work as well. So the 3 main things I can try to organize that in, and what I'm going to be going through in this presentation is strategy, reach, and conversion. So I'm just going to give you a short summary of each. Strategy is basically you need to have a plan. You need to have a goal in mind, and you need to know where your club is going yourself before you can even start marketing it to the member. So creating a plan and getting everyone in your club, all the executives, on the same page is very important, because if any of you are confused, you won't be able to effectively market it to anybody else. The second point is reach. So once you have a strategy, you know exactly what you want to do, you need to get their attention, which is the biggest thing in anybody marketing a club or anybody marketing a luxury brand. It's the same thing. You need to get their attention. You need to effectively market your product, your service, anything that is. So same thing with AutoU clubs as well. And the last thing is conversion, which is a bit of like a sales jargon. Conversion is basically knowing someone is interested and converting them into a sale, converting them into a member, or converting them into your client. So that's what conversion comes in. So I'm going to go through a detailed or semi-detailed way, and then you can maybe add your experiences and see what you can get out of it and where your club fits. So starting with strategy again, this is all the planning stage. This is before you even start marketing your project, your club, anything that is. You need to have a strategy. You need to have a goal. You need to have sub-goals. So going more into strategy, I'm going to go through each of these 5 things that I think are the most important. The first one being club goal. So as I mentioned, you need to have a defined goal of where you want your club to be. So I'll give you an example of DECA, and before DECA, I'll tell you what DECA is about so you can have a little bit of context. DECA was basically a case competition club, and every university, not only in Canada, like around the world, has a DECA chapter, which is their own DECA group within the university. So all throughout the year, they train their members in these case competitions. They do various cases to be better, and at the end, we compete in a provincials competition or nationals competition. And if you're placed in either of those, you go to the internationals competition. So for us, the big one was nationals, which happens in Toronto. Our club goal and every other DECA's club goal is getting the maximum amount of awards or achievements we can get. So that was our goal. So we want to make a premium club. We want our members to be the best and put Voulez-vous in the best light in front of not the global stage for now, but at least the national Canadian stage. So there was universities all across Canada came to Toronto for a weekend, and we competed in a lot of case competitions. So again, our goal was to get awards. So same thing with your club, whatever your club is. I'm sure it's not the exact same as what mine was, but your goal, you need to have a clearly defined goal, what you were trying to achieve. And once you have defined that goal, which is more of an internal thing, you go into value proposition. So the members aren't that worried or aren't looking at the big picture when looking at your goal. They don't know that what you're trying to do. They're just trying to see what they can get out of it. And a lot of clubs in university, some of people's ultimate goal is having experience or having a community where they can get experience from and show to their employers. So a lot of people, especially the clubs in Telfer or the business schools, once they do join a club, they want to add it to their resume and show everyone that I was part of this club and what this added to my experiences and how it supplemented my degree. And even though your club might not be strictly academic or strictly something that adds something to your major, you still need to have a value proposition. So again, in business clubs, point of view, it's adding to your resume or showing your employer how I supplement your degree. But something your club can purely just be for fun. And a lot of people, especially in today, in the online learning age, people are of course having trouble making friends, especially freshmen who are just coming into a college university. They don't know how to get that college experience that has been shown in movies or whatever. So a lot of people are missing that friend aspect, that social aspect of university, and that's where your club comes in. If they are interested in your club, they're most likely, in addition to just their interests that you're gauging, they're also looking for a community, a friend, a social circle that they can be a part of, and that can be your value proposition. So your value proposition can be anywhere from it will look great on your resume to this will be a great place for you to socialize and to supplement your university experience. And that from the value proposition, we go straight to perks. So what can your club offer to enhance their life? How to enhance their anything that can add to their life. So perks can be as simple as you can add it to your resume. It can be as simple as there's a social aspect to our club, or it can be something as what the club offers itself, like something that makes them happy in the club. So yeah, a tight-knit community is a lot of people what they're looking for in addition to just meeting their career goals, which leads to differentiation. So again, example from business club, because I was in Telfer, that's what my background is, so I'll just give you something from there. There's at least 20 business clubs in Telfer, in serious business clubs. And at the end of the day, most of them are offering the same thing. They're offering something to add to your resume to make you stand apart from the competition. But a lot of clubs, what they forgot was, any club can offer that. Any of the other 20 clubs can offer something to put on your resume. But what makes that club special? What makes it jump out of the page or jump out of your resume? Wow, this person attended this club. This is their history. So differentiation is really how you set yourself apart, how you make yourself unique. A unique brand identity is something which is very important for a club, not only in content creation, but how to market that content. You need to really set yourself apart, and when someone asks them the question why this club, You can say exactly why this club, what this club can offer you, what others can't. That's differentiation. That's something that's applied in everywhere in life, not only like choosing like university clubs, a product. So like why this phone, or why this watch, why over this over this. So it's just something that's essential in marketing. And something else that might not be, it depends on your club, might not be important to you, but creating a timeline, like an event timeline, is very important. So again, like in my club experience, even before the events were like around the corner, or when like well before, like a month or 2 months before, we had a plan exactly how the event's going to play out, or how everything's going to play out. So when September started, or September 2019, talking about, when we're trying to get members, we knew well in advance what our marketing tactics will be, what our value proposition is, what our goal is, and what we want to get out of this club, and how many members we want to get. And so we had a goal. So in it, you need to have not like a detailed timeline for long term, but at least a detailed timeline for the short term. So this is going to be the event that's coming up in the month. This is how I'm going to market it. This is when I'm going to start. This is how we're going to keep going ahead with the plan. So even so, when the event does come, it's coming nearby, people know exactly what's happening. There's no confusion, and a lot of times confusion creates distrust, or someone who might see confusion internally be like, I'm not interested in this event, so I'm not going to join. So, but once everything is organized, once there's a plan, people feel much more comfortable, much more inclined to sign up for your club or event, anything like that. So just going forward, I just have some tips that I saw were very important from my point of view. Again, is frequent meetings. So DECA, since it's an international organization, has this clause in their agreement for universities that they need to have a meeting at least once every 2 weeks. So it doesn't matter if you have nothing to talk about, just you need to meet once in 2 weeks. And I think that's a very important thing, and that was a great thing they added, because a lot of times we think, oh, we can just solve this over like Messenger group chats or Slack group chats, but it's like completely different, like meeting or like on video calling or something. Like not everything can be like sent through text. Not everything can be planned sent through text. So it is important to get in the same place, get everything, because a lot of ideas pop up, a lot of new perspectives pop up. So we had about like 10 execs, like VP of events, me marketing, VP of finance, a lot of this. So when we were talking about an event we could possibly plan, the VP of finance chimed in, said, so this is the amount of money we have, and this is what we can put towards the event. And it's like, oh, that's great. Then the president chimed in. It's like, so since we have this much money and we have this time frame, which is like, for example, like the exams are done at this point. So we have this time frame, and then the VP of events chimed in. It's like, so this is our options, meeting with what our budget constraints are, and meeting with what kind of time frame we're in. So I think this event will be great. So just like you can't really get that in like just over text group chat. You need to have everyone involved, everyone interested what's happening, and then like a lot of things just pop up naturally. And moving into event planning, as I said, timeline is very important. You can create a rough timeline, but you need to have at least some timeline, noting what's going to be happening throughout the year. So yeah, again, short term it should be detailed. That's preferable. And long term, it can be rough, but at least you know exactly where you're headed or where your club's headed, so you can market it better. Just an example, when you're trying to get members at the start of the club's the club year, a lot of members like to see what the events are planned, even though they've not been like fully etched in stone, or they are going to be planned for sure. Just like a small, like a rough draft of what plan or what events are going to be happening, that gets people not only interested, but something to be excited and look forward to. So it's just something that I saw was was pretty helpful in event planning. And chain of command. So if this is like speaking directly to marketing executives, you need to establish contact with all the other executives to see where you can go. So a lot of times when I was marketing an event, there's a bunch of questions I had. So where is the event going to be? What time? What time should everyone get there? a lot of times in like business school clubs, there's a dress code, so it's a lot of times it's professional. So I need to communicate that, right? So people feel comfortable. They know exactly what they're doing. They don't have any decision fatigue, like, oh, what I'm gonna wear, but they have like clearly like these constraints. So this is the event. This is when it's happening. This is what you should wear. This is what will be offered if there's any food or anything, and stuff like that. When marketing the event, you need to have all these things in place. So not only you're organized, but the member feels like, oh, they're organized, and then everything is under control. So that's what I can give for strategy. This is just something that helped me. Maybe if you can take even like one thing away from it, I'm sure it can help you enhance your club yourself. So moving on to reach, this is the point after you've built the strategy. How do you get your club or a product or a service in front of the member or a potential member? So reach is very important, obviously, not only in clubs again, but any brand that exists. The first thing I would is very important is channels. So you need to figure out what's the appropriate channel for your club. So what DECA found itself was Instagram and Facebook were very helpful. So we've seen Facebook was, because DECA's been going on for years in AutoVideo. So we saw Facebook before, like 5 years ago, was like a good platform. You can create Facebook groups. People are inclined. But like when I came into the VP of marketing position, I saw, because I was a member before DECA, I wasn't a VP. I saw that the Facebook groups were really not really helpful, because the thing with Facebook groups is a lot of people have had Facebook for like 10 plus years, and they have so many friends, so many pages they've liked. The Facebook group gets lost in their timeline. They can't see what's happening. So what DECA, or like what I chose to do is let's create an application which was banned. For example, it was like it's like Facebook group, but a different application. So it was different from Facebook, and it was also an app that lived on your phone. And if you guys want to look it up, it's just, you just search banned app on Google. It's somewhere people can download the app, join a group, and it's a defined app for just that group. So there's something that lives on their home screen, something that brings them back. And it was a place that was only strictly for club marketing. So it does not get lost in your Facebook. It does not get lost in any other timelines. It's just something, someone goes into the app to exactly learn about DECA, what's happening, what are the upcoming events, stuff like that. But other than that, for marketing purposes, before you have secured a member, of course, you need to use the public channels such as Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and you need to see where your audience lies. So a lot of I've seen most people are the most active on Instagram and most inclined to check it every day. So Instagram was our main method of outward or external marketing, as opposed to banned being our internal marketing. So Instagram was our main, but it can be something different for you. It can be Twitter. A lot of Twitter is more text-based, more information-based. Instagram is, of course, more visual-based platform. So you can just see how your club's needs are and just fit it according to that. And then going into after you have picked a channel, you need to pick a theme. So this is where brand identity comes in and brand creation comes in. You need to create a theme that will market what your brand is without explicitly saying it. So just starting from like bare bones, you need to have a few colors basically. You need to have like a theme that you choose for marketing. So for DECA, it was for us was garnet, just like all we use colors, and just a tinge of yellow. It was our brand identity. And if you go back to like all of our marketing materials from last year, all the marketing materials have at least those two colors. Or this is something like very technical or something very very minor, you might think, but it does create a brand identity. So like, for example, like when you see some like a brand or something, they have like a logo that's associated with their products. They have a definable, recognizable logo. So the same thing, like clubs are no different than that. There's like thousands of clubs in AutoVideo. You need to make your club stand out. You need to make it like a unique brand, an identity for your brand that can't be copied. So a uniform theme, I feel, was very important. And it's not that hard to create, but it's something that will really help your brand, not only for like this year, but going forward, whoever becomes the VP next year and the year after that, and all of that. Again, and then moving into content creation, using that brand to create unique content. So a lot of people I've seen, or the other clubs I saw, just took like a stock image off Google or something and just stuck like a bio to it. There was no editing, no changing that photo, no value added basically to the photo. They just took a photo, like a stock photo, and just added a bio to it and just posted it, which I feel comes off a bit disingenuous. It's like it's just the club just like taking stuff, like not putting effort in. It's just something like it's just like a side thing that you're doing. But like if you have a member that signed up for a club, and a lot of times, like especially in DECA, they paid member fees to be a member. They want to feel like they've actually invested in something that's professional or something that will add to their life. And content creation it might seem like a minor part to it, but it is something that creates the brand. It creates, makes them feel like, oh, I invested somewhere in a professional place. So content creation and unique content creation I feel it's a must. And then moving into I think this is the most important thing, avid communication or communicating to the members between execs. So a lot of times when someone was unsure if I want to become a member, I want to come to this event, a lot of times they were just confused or weren't sure if their decision, what they're making is correct. So this is where the executive comes in, and a lot of you will come in, is you want to push the member to take that step, to buy the membership or buy the event ticket. So a lot of times they're just confused, don't know what to do, where to go, how to sign up for a specific thing, or what will be happening at this event. So this is where communication comes in. You need to open a dialogue from the day one, that if you have any questions, like whatsoever, it doesn't even have to be about the club. Like feel free to reach out to the execs, and this is where you need to provide contact information, even if it's just an email, which is I've seen a lot of people don't like communicating by email, especially today. So if you have a club page, like on Instagram, like an Instagram page, I feel DMs are the quickest and most efficient way for them to contact you. So be like, our DMs are open for any questions you might have, and we would love to help you with anything. Don't be shy to reach out. So that creates a bit of trust, a bit of mutual connection, and again, that concept of tight-knit community comes in. So the members, especially like freshman members I saw, were very scared to reach out to like fourth years, when I was a fourth year last year. They were scared. They're like, oh, they just feel so. I feel so intimidated by that, which is exactly what I felt when I was in my first year. But honestly, they're always they're ready to help you, and that's exactly what we want to market. That we are always here to help you with anything. And then tying into theme, content creation, and communication is consistency. That's the number one thing you need to keep up. I've seen a lot of clubs, they start out strong in September, October, we're going to market, we're going to post all of this. And then when you look at their timelines in March or something, there's nothing there. The last post they had was maybe in December or something. So consistency is very important. You need to keep posting, keep your members in the loop, keep sending email newsletters if you have that. And if you have a website, keep updating that. That's a very important thing. It doesn't make them forget, oh yeah, I was a member of this. And it keeps them involved. They know events are coming up, when the events are happening, and what's happening in the club. Another example, in first year in 2016, when I joined VibezUO, I joined these clubs and I had nothing. I didn't know how universities work, right? So I just joined a bunch of clubs and this will be great to add to my resume. And those clubs, after I paid my fees, I think they were $20 each. I did not hear from them for the rest of the year. I didn't even know if they existed anymore. There was no communication whatsoever. I followed them on Instagram. I followed them on Facebook. I followed them on Twitter. I did not see any reaching out. So that's something you want to avoid, and hopefully I hope you will avoid. It's just make members feel like they've invested in something valuable, something that they will get something out of. So consistency, again, very important. A theme is important. The channels you'll be marketing, very important. And of course, communication, I think, is the most important thing. So just going through some tips that I found. So once you have a bunch of channels, you still need to have a dominant channel. So this is where the bulk of your marketing will be happening, which was, again, as I mentioned, Instagram for us. That's where we had the most reach, the most impressions, the most people asking questions and everything. So even if you market in all of these channels, which I think is very valuable, like, because sometimes someone will stumble upon your post, even if they don't know about your club, don't know about what you offer. So the more places you post, the more likely it is someone will reach. But you still need to have a dominant channel somewhere where you can focus your interest, you can focus your work into. So just picking that marketing medium. Again, a lot of people, it's just like obviously Instagram for them, but it might be different for you. It might be Twitter, it might be Facebook, or it might be some third-party social media app you found. And whatever it is, just stick to it. Make sure members are reaching out to it. They know exactly where it is and how it works. Again, two-way communication. There's usually a big gap between members and executives communicating, which I feel it shouldn't be there, because usually members and executives are both part of the club, So like, why is there this disparity? And originality, again, which is the uniformity you can create, that theme you can create to make your club stand out. So that's the tips I can offer for reach. And moving into conversion, this is, again, the sales concept. Like, how do I make this member or potential member into a member? How do I close this deal? Or what can I offer that will tip the scales for them to become a member? I'm just going to get a sip of water. So yeah, conversion. These are, again, 5 things that I can offer. First thing is follow-up. So whenever you're, moving away from clubs, when you're closing a deal, like in the finance world or in anything else, you need to follow up. You need to track their interest. So if someone did seem interested in your club, there probably is something that intrigued them. So you need to tap into that. So following up what interested them or what's keeping them from actually making the step, buying this event ticket or becoming a member, you need to track their interest and see where they're at with their decision process. And just following up is very important. So, for example, last year there was a clubs day, similar like this year was online, I heard, but last year clubs day was obviously in person, and it was like a huge line of just clubs all across Ottawa, not just Telford. And people can just walk by and come up to a stand and ask what's this club about, and maybe even sign up there. So the first thing we did right there was before we even talk to them, is get their name and get their email. So we have a contact information. So we saw they came up to our stall. So there's something that must have intrigued them. So just for that, we have their name now, we have their email, and we can contact them anytime. So even after the club's day, they didn't sign up on the spot. We can contact them after, think, oh, hey, we saw you came up, you seem interested, are you still interested? And a lot of times, this is where a package comes in, like an introductory package. So this is what, if you are still confused what our club is about, here's what it is, here's what we offer, here's what we can do for you. And if you are interested, feel free to reach out. And in that email, you need to include social links and any way they can reach you if they have any questions. So that's tied into following up and tracking their interests. Just seeing where they're at, what's holding them back. And what's holding them back is usually, I'm not sure, or I'm confused, or I don't know how this adds to my life. This is where added benefits come in. So this is where you tip the scales I was talking about. This is like in any sales, in a sales pitch, it's like, what benefit can you provide to me that's something somebody else can provide or some other club can provide? So this is where the differentiating factor comes in, tying back to strategy. So this is our club. This is what we can offer. This is what XYZ can't offer, and this is what we can do. So you need to really emphasize your strengths and show how you can add value to their life joining this club or anything. It doesn't have to be professional. Again, I keep emphasizing that. It doesn't have to be something that you need to add to your resume. I've heard a lot of clubs are just for fun. Like, I remember when I was first joining in 2016, I was joining One in 2016, I heard there was a sandwich club where they just got together once a week and just made sandwiches. And that's so that there's you're not gonna add that to your resume. It's just like a community aspect. Like, oh, we get together once a week, make sandwiches. I thought that was super cool. But yeah, it doesn't have to be something you need to add to your resume or a sandwich club. It can be something like anything your club offers, of course. And then well, a lot of people's like marketing gets lost into just making a sale or making money or making how do I get someone to come to this event, and they stop caring after that. But what's really important in conversion is creating a relationship. So, okay, so they came to one of your events and they didn't feel interested. They're probably never going to come again or they care about your club. You need to create that relationship with them. So if they do come to your club, and even if the club is virtual, ask them like how are you? How's university going? How's everything going? That creates a relationship that goes above just, oh, I just secured a sale or I just secured a member. I don't need to do anything now. So it's just something that's in like keeps a consistent relationship, keeps them coming back, and keeps them and makes them feel like, oh, again, this club is valuable. I made a good decision. And again, that goes into offer assistance. Again, with avid communication from Reach, anything that's like holding them back from making that step of becoming a member or buying that event ticket is they're probably just confused or something's holding them back. So offer assistance. Again, be like, my DMs are always open. You can message any exec you like. You can message anyone you feel comfortable with, and we're always here to help you just to make that final step. And just lastly, just some tips I learned for conversion is market sooner. So the sooner you start, the better it will be for your club. Again, collect contact information so you know exactly how you can track interest, how you can get back to them, and everything. And there's this concept of closing. So this is finishing touches you put in at the end. And there's a concept of friction in sales. Friction is basically what are the hurdles that are placed in the middle that's avoiding them getting to the final point, which is in many cases a sale, or becoming a member, or buying the event ticket. Like, what's the friction that exists? And a lot of times, friction can be applied to anything in life. Like, for example, like university students always obviously study for their projects or exams and whatever. The friction between that is, oh, I don't know where to start to study, or I don't know where I find all this information, or find the answers, find these textbook answers, or you need to remove that friction just so that the goal is clear between you and your final goal is, which is, I hope, like acing the exam. So just removing that friction in the middle, just like in anything in life, it creates how do you close the deal, or how do you reach your goal. So yeah, that just sums up the 3 steps I have: strategy, reach, and conversion. Strategy, you need to have a uniform plan. You need to talk with the executives. You need to see exactly what your club's about, what the goals are, what your value proposition is, and how you can create this club into something that exactly what you want it to be. And of course, something very important in there is timeline. What's a rough estimate of when the events will be? Second is reach. Once you have found out exactly what your strategy is, what your brand is, you need to market that strategy. You need to get their attention. You need to reach out to the world. Like, so this is what our club is. This is what we can offer you. This is our value proposition again, and these are our perks that we can add to your life, or to your resume, or just to your university experience. And of course, conversion, which is removing that friction between them being confused and them actually becoming a member, buying a ticket for your event, and of course, just getting them involved in the club. That's just the conversion. So yeah, that's my presentation on marketing. If you guys have any questions, of course, we'll go. You can ask me now. But if you have any questions after you think of something later, you can just I'm at Rachit Sach everywhere, like LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. You can just search that up. I'll pop up somewhere, and you can ask me there if you just want to ask in private or think of anything. It doesn't have to be marketing related. If you're interested in business, your CFA, your finance, anything, it can be anything like that. So yeah, thanks for joining, and yeah, I'll take any questions that you guys have.
Awesome presentation, Rachit. I really love it. I love the way you structured it. It's made a lot of sense. And I also loved how you you didn't only provide marketing techniques, but also techniques in regards to how to structure a club in general. So I really, really loved it. So first of all, we'll give us some time for some questions. I do have some questions myself, but so if anyone has a question, you can unmute yourself if you like, or you can also leave a comment.
May I ask a question?
Yes, please go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. So I come from a high school that's really big in DECA, so I know how big and grand and everything it is. So, I mean, obviously, I'm going to assume that while you were the VP of marketing, you implemented your own marketing strategies. What growth did you see in the club since you became the VP of marketing?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So, what's DECA been in the last 5 years? DECA, the international organization, releases the numbers, exactly what the membership is, and we saw membership going down like across, especially in North America. So the U.S. DECA universities and Canadian DECA members were all going down. So this year, we wanted to do something different. Is instead of a lot of times DECA's goals or the chapter goals are usually just getting the most amount of members. So when we come to go to nationals or provincials, we need to have the most people showing up for our university. And that's something what we saw was like Ryerson or UFT had the most members because obviously they live like across the street basically to the Sheridan, which is where we held the provincials. So RBU was having a lot of difficulty in the past years getting members. But what we saw was the biggest problem was people were focusing, or the previous executives were focusing on numbers instead of quality. So last year, what our goal was is getting quality members, not like the amount of members. So we focused, we held an assessment week where we actually vetted people. So if we saw people were good enough for the club, that's only we let them in. So it was more like they need to give like a test or show what their skills are to join RBU's DECA. So and then something with that we got just like growth per capita or something. We saw most awards per capita, which is most awards per person in the club. RBU had the highest last year, and that's a strategy that worked for us. So again, quality over quantity is what we went for. That's not what every DECA university goes for, but that's what we went for. Because again, our club goal, which I mentioned in strategy, was the biggest recognition for RBU and the most awards was our club goal.
Okay, thank you.
No worries.
Awesome. Does anyone else have any other question?
Yeah, sure. In terms of content creation, I wonder if you have any like handy tools you would recommend for us.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm guessing you're asking about resources where I got my marketing materials. And a lot of people think marketing has to be something super technical, or you need to know a lot about graphic design or something. You really don't. Like as long as you're like a creative individual and you can gauge resources from different places, you can create something in Microsoft Paint if you wanted to, and that could be something better than anybody can create in like Adobe Suite or like After Effects, Photoshop, or anything. So for resources, I can give you some specific ones. I use a lot of icons in my marketing a lot of times. There's a website called Icon Finder. You can just search that on Google. I think it's iconfinder.com. I'm not sure, but it's just like small, free, like completely free of charge, like small icons, small like GIFs that you can add to your marketing that really add that professional touch, make it really stand out from other clubs' marketing I saw. Another thing I used is there's of course there's stock images you can use, but a lot of times stock images have that watermark, and there you can just search up free stock images. There's like a website that has a lot of them, and that can really like put your content to the next level. And again, don't just like take the stock image and just add a bio. You need to add at least your logo to it. Add something that makes that image or that content that you're posting like uniquely yours. And other than that, just once you have everything that's going into the poster or whatever it is, you just need to stitch it together. And honestly, a lot of times when I saw like my marketing was more simple and minimal, so I didn't even use Photoshop. I just used something as simple as like Google Drawings. It's like super powerful, super minimal, and they have the options that can take you to the next level, or it can be as simple as you want. Like this presentation itself, I created everything in Google Slides, which isn't the professional choice, but it's everything I needed, and like I didn't need to put anything more effort into this because all the tools were there.
Thank you so much. That's very helpful.
No worries.
Awesome. Anyone else has any question? You can leave it in the chat. You can unmute yourself. So yeah, I do have a question actually. So you, as I've mentioned, I love how you broke it down to those different stages. So based on experience, where do you think clubs lack the most? Like personally, like the conversion is something that I've always seen. There's a lot of struggle in that, like especially in the clubs that I've been in. Like they get a list of people, they get people interested, but it does not end up anywhere. They don't really end up being of use. So personally, where do you think clubs lack the most, and why do you think so?
Yeah, that's something I wondered too. Even like making this presentation, I'm like, where was the place that we struggled the most, or I see the clubs struggling the most? And honestly, like strategy, reach, conversion. I'll just put this up again. The biggest thing here, like you cannot get to the next stage if you don't fulfill the previous stage. This is what I see. So it's like this is more like a sequence. So if you have holes in strategy or holes in reach, you will never get into conversion, or you'll never get that member. So the biggest, like to answer your question, the biggest place where I saw people where there was a gap was strategy. Like the first step, they didn't know what the club's goal was. They didn't know what they were offering. They were just like, my ultimate goal is get this member, get the members' fees, and that's it. I've secured. But like they might have a goal in mind, but they don't have like a strategy in mind. They don't have the value they can offer. So going above, like our goal is just to collect all these members' fees, so we have this big pot. You need to go deeper into that. Like, no, we need to offer something to members that they will actually find useful in their life. Not just like, oh, they can put this name. Oh, I signed up for this on day one, and I can put this on my resume, but I didn't attend any events. So like, what's the point in that? You're just like collecting their money. You're not offering them anything. You're not adding to their life. So strategy is the first thing, or the biggest thing I saw. There was the gap in. People didn't know what the value proposition was for the club, which is the most important thing, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and I love how you mentioned that you should like take into consideration every different piece, and that it's a process rather than just immediately jumping to the conversion without actually having a proper strategy. And speaking about strategy, you mentioned something in the beginning where it's important not to just have your own vision, but also to take into consideration what people would benefit, and not to just share your vision with people like, oh, this is why we're doing this, like you should join us. Rather this is why you should join. I see a lot of clubs doing that. It's like, we are doing something good, you guys should join us, instead of saying, this is why we think you should join, this is how it's going to benefit you. So it's like, what additional tips in addition to what you said, like how much would you emphasize on that, like the importance of emphasizing on the person individually rather than just sharing your own vision, basically? For
no, that's exactly what I saw too. I think that was the problem. So yeah, that's why in strategy, if you go back to presentation, there's two things. It's club goal and then value proposition. So I think those are two different things, even though they might seem similar. So again, just re-emphasizing, club goal is something internal. So what we want to achieve. So again, example for DECA was, we want the most awards. We want the most, like, or we be shown in the best light out of all universities. And then value proposition is something the member can get out of it. Like someone who's coming into freshman or their freshman year, their first year, we can't tell them like, oh, we want to win the most awards. They'll be like, okay, but that's a grand scheme of things. What can you do for me as like one member? And the value proposition was, we can really make you attractive to employers, because everyone knows about DECA. Like around the world, DECA is like a big organization. That employers see DECA like on their resume, and they're like, oh, this person has this experience. And in addition to that, this is what DECA AutoU did. When someone became a member, we had 50 members just for just for reference, if they became a member with DECA, when they signed up, we asked them to send their resume. So we had a big pool of 50 resumes just sitting with us. And anybody who sponsored us, so for example, last year, Welch, which is an accounting firm, sponsored us. Welch basically gave us money, sponsored us, and in addition, or in return, we gave them this big bucket of just resumes. They look through them, they can contact anyone they like. That's something, a value we added to not only Welch, which is someone sponsoring us, but to the members. So when the members were like, I don't know if DECA is the right fit for me, it's like, well, think about it. What's your goal? A lot of times in business schools or business clubs, their goal is, I want to get a good job. And this is exactly what we're providing. We get your resume, and anybody who sponsors us, we forward it to them. So that's a big value proposition. They don't even have to apply for the job, and this big company, this like great accounting firm, already has their resume, and they will already open this door for them. So you can't just say we want to win awards. Like, what are you offering to me, like as like a member? Not like on a macro scale, on like a micro scale. Something that's, I think, very important.
Yeah, I really love that. Unfortunately, our time is up for Q&A. So to our participants, I'm gonna put the link for the slides now. What I love about what Rachit did is that he gave you guys a step-by-step breakdown of how you can do it. This can always be like a guideline that you can follow. So you can find the link where you can access the actual slide. Rachit, thank you so much. The presentation was amazing. Like, it was very enlightening, and I'm sure our participants really have benefited from it. So thank you so much, and the best of luck in everything in the future.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It was a lot of fun. And thanks everyone for attending. I hope you found maybe just a little bit useful. So yeah, thanks for coming. Thanks for taking time out of your day.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
You as well. Bye.
Bye-bye.